So I'm now seconded to the Global Campaign for Education, which is a global coalition of which Common Relief is a member and lots of other non-profits around the world are members. And the aim is to get every child in the world into education. There's, just to give you background, as to how we've ended up here today. So there's currently 75 million children still not in education in the world. That will take about $12 billion a year. And all the world leaders agreed in 2000 as part of the Millennium Development Goals that they would achieve that by 2015. 40 million more kids have got into school in that time, but there's still 75 million kids not in education. It's not surprising that it's not being achieved by 2015. So this year there's a significant meeting in September at the UN where they discuss that. And our initial aim was to put education right at the forefront of that conversation, because education could be achieved by, or be well on the way to being achieved by 2015 if they would put the money into it and add to the infrastructure that's already in place. So we started a campaign called One Goal and started talking to FIFA. And the best thing probably now is to try and show you a video if I can get this to work, which was actually an event that we held here as a political launch. And some footballers turned up. It was in this room last time I was here. In fact, let's see if this is going to play. One goal.
Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of global leaders to show support for One Goal, the world's most ambitious education campaign with the aim of putting every child around the world in a classroom.
In football, players and fans dream of goals and glory. But for millions of children denied in education, their only dream is to go to school.
The greatest of injustices demands the boldest of action by the best of people preparing for the greatest sporting tournament in the world. It is simply wrong that today and every day 75 million girls and boys are not going to school.
This situation is not acceptable. Experts around the world agree that education for all is possible, affordable and achievable.
Education gives us all the chance to have the basics of life: food, clean water and good health. Education gives people a pathway out of poverty.
Education is critical to the development and well-being of humanity.
There is a saying that we're all a product of our environment and education. But in fact, without education, we become a victim.
It doesn't have to be this way, and with the new One Goal campaign, footballers and fans across the world will be pushing for a change.
Ghanaians are passionate about education. That is giving our children an opportunity to make the best use of their God-given talents.
The 2010 FIFA World Cup, the first one to be held on the African continent, represents a unique opportunity to mobilize support around the globe and to provide education, health and a better future for every child on our planet.
We must be able to give every child that chance. This World Cup, let's leave a legacy that the world will never forget.
In the run for the World Cup, let us show those millions of children that they can count on us. Let us give them a chance to join in the game, a chance of a successful future.
Footballers will now ask fans for their signatures. We want millions to join so that we can get all children in Africa and the world into school.
Let's make this World Cup an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to education for all. Now that is a goal worth cheering for.
I call on world leaders and people everywhere to join me in signing on to the One Goal campaign.
So I'd encourage particularly from the media here to really get behind this. This campaign's got to last until next summer, and the only way it's going to last is if you commit as individuals, as editors, as writers, as producers to promote
one goal, education for all.
When the final whistle blows at the World Cup in 2010, we want every politician to know our goal. One goal, that global education is a global dream. So please join the team. Thank you.
So that was a great occasion and set us up in the political world, and now we have about 50 footballers signed up, and we haven't launched yet either. And so we're launching on April the 19th, and we have 75 days from that week until the World Cup final to engage. My job to engage 30 million people in this campaign around the world and working with the World Cup. And obviously a lot of those people need to come through mobile. And we have two parts to that campaign, and one I'm not allowed to tell you about at all, apart from say that it's being launched by Queen Rania, who is our co-chair, who you saw on the video, who's great, has 1.25 million followers on Twitter now, and opens big doors in the digital world, which enable this campaign to really move forward. And so on February the 16th at the GSMA World Congress in Barcelona, she's launching what we're doing with the mobile industry itself, with the GSMA, along with one of the world footballers as well. So that, if you're in Barcelona on that week, then make sure you're there, because that's going to be a significant campaign and the biggest thing ever on mobile. But the other part of that is the bits that you're here, you know, and the way that we're working with brands generally and agencies is that we have a thing of these 75 days of having each brand and company work with us for one day for one goal, to dedicate as much of their resources as they can into engaging their consumers in supporting one goal. So we need to create this public pulse of the planet moment, which was a quote from Jack Dorsey at Twitter, who's also involved in this campaign now, that, you know, if they said if they had sort of 1 billion people on Twitter, they could create the pulse of the planet, and that's what we intend to do around the World Cup, around education. Because there's a lot of things that have come together, and in fact, so much so that world leaders, it looks like they're going to meet to discuss education, to discuss exactly this on the eve of the World Cup. Because President Zuma up there is inviting them, obviously, to the opening game and to a summit to discuss education. And we need, we're close to actually succeeding, something that no other campaign has succeeded in actually achieving genuine success. A lot of the people involved in this campaign are involved in the main property industry. Obviously, Comic Relief is involved in that heavily as well, and there's a lot of learnings out of that campaign, and this is not about getting money from the public at all, it's purely getting their support through engaging them, which may be playing a FIFA game online and then showing their support that way. It could be running 10k and getting loads of signatures to support them rather than just getting any money. The money needs to come from the governments to get the sustainability of long-term support for education for all. So that was it really. I just wanted to tell you about it. I wanted to say I'm here for a little while. My email address is just chris@joinOneGoal.org, because I've run out of business cards. But come and see me. We've got some of these brochures that are apparently turning up this afternoon that detail all about it, and I'd love it if you could take one of those and just talk to me or contact me and see how you can get involved. It's something that genuinely could change the planet and change a bit of the power of and mobile is obviously, as we heard very early this morning, on why I'm here and why we're doing something with the GSMA. Mobile is the one way that you can engage the entire planet. You can't do it through the internet, you can't do it through the TV as much as you can do it through mobile. So thank you very much.